Hi everyone, today we're going to start on day 3 of Unit 3A, and we're going to do multi-step equations. So before we start, let's go ahead and review two-step. We kind of did a little bit of a review for the, what's it called? The word problems, that's what I'm trying to say. So let's go ahead and review very quickly. When you're trying to solve a two-step, you want to get rid of the constant first, and then you can undo whatever's happening to the variable, okay? So for example 1, we're going to go ahead and subtract 12 from both sides first, so the 12s will cancel out. We got to do it to both sides. So now we have 7n equals negative 35. Then we can divide both sides by 7, which will cancel out, so n equals negative 5. Okay? Here, we still have to undo this minus 3, so we're going to add 3 to both sides. So we have 4/5 m times 16. So now, to undo this fraction, we could divide by 4/5. So you could change 4/5 to a decimal and divide by that decimal. Or, another option is to do something else. Why is that stuff? Oh, there's the answer. There. Multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. So flip the fraction upside down and multiply by that. So you can multiply by 16 by it over here. There we go. So multiply both sides by 5/4. And then the 4/5 and the 5/4 will cancel out here. So you just have m equals 20. Okay? So now you guys are going to try this on your own. Here, it's a little bit harder because you have to undo this divided by 2 first. So undo the whole thing first, then you can go ahead and treat it like our examples. Okay? So you can pause the video now and do that now, or come back to it at the end. Moving on your notes, I believe it says, I think it says multi-step equations. With multi-step equations, there's different ways we can say it, okay? So today we're only talking about variables being on one side, so that's all you have to worry about. But with multi-step, sometimes it will have distributive property, sometimes it will contain combining like terms, and sometimes it will have a combo. So we're going to talk about distributive property first. So remember, the distributive property is used to remove multiplication around parentheses. Step 1, we're going to distribute. We're always going to distribute first. Step 2, for these problems, we're just going to solve the variable using inverse operations. Solve for the variable. So these are only distributive property. Okay? So example 2, we just need to solve it. So I'm going to go ahead and make my arrows. Did I not put them in? Maybe I did. I don't remember. So I'm going to do my waves. 9 times 2x. And I'm going to do 9 times negative 3. Okay? So I'm going to do that multiplication. So now I have 9 times 2x minus 9 times 3, or 9 times negative 3, the same thing. And I get 18x minus 27 equals 81. Now it's just a two-step equation. I solve it like normal. So I'm going to add 27 to both sides. So that will give me 18x equals 108. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 18. And I get something that doesn't want to show up. Of course, it never wants to show up when I click it. Why does this happen, guys? It really doesn't like me at all. Jeez. It really doesn't like me. I get x equals 6 is what I get. X equals 6. Sorry, it's not working. Okay? So, and that's my final answer. Now, you can check your final answer by plugging it back in and evaluating. Make sure it actually equals 81. So this one, there shouldn't be any errors because you can tell if you have the right answer already. For B, I got to distribute my 1/2. So I'm going to take my 1/2 and I'm going to distribute it to the negative 4x and to the 8. Okay? So 1/2 times negative 4x gives me negative 2x. 1/2 times 8 gives me 4. Okay? And you can change the 1 over 2 to a 0.5. This one will be okay. But you guys should be getting used to fractions. Then I'm going to solve it like a two-step. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I get negative 2x equals 6. Then divide both sides by 2. By negative 2. Of course, it doesn't want to work again. Doesn't like it. Will not work. So much fun. So we're going to divide by negative 2. Here and here. Sorry for the crazy video. It's not working for some reason. Divide both sides by negative 2, so I get x equals negative 3 as my final answer. And I can always check it by plugging it back in for the x here and simplifying. So now you guys are going to try these two on your own. I would be careful about changing 1/3 to a decimal, because it will be a repeating decimal. So what you can do is 1 divided by 3 in your calculator, and then don't clear it, just hit times 21 or times 9. Okay? Alright. Then next page. So that was all on just distributing. Now we're going to talk about just combining. When you're combining like terms in an equation, you need to identify and combine the like terms first. Then you can solve using inverse operations. So example 3. I look at my problem. There's no parentheses, so I'm good to go. I can move on to combining. I have an 8x and a negative 4x. So together they make 4x. And then I add the 15, which is there. So I bring it down. It makes it into a two-step equation that I can solve. So I subtract 15 from both sides. And now I have 4x equals negative 20. Divide both sides by 4. I get x equals 5, or negative 5, which is my final answer. Okay? Here, this time I'll do it with a marker so you guys can see what I'm doing. So on B, I don't have any parentheses, so I can go straight into combining. I have a negative 10c and a negative 8c that can be combined. And I have a plus 5. Okay? So I go ahead and combine my like terms. Negative 10 minus 8 will give me negative 18c. And then the plus 5 I just bring down. Equals 59. So now I just solve. Subtract 5 from both sides. I get negative 18c equals 54. Divide by negative 18. And I get c equals negative 3. That's my final answer. So now you guys are going to try these on your own. Okay? Lastly, we're going to put it all together. So we've talked about it if it's just distributing. We talked about if it's just combining. Now if it's distributing and combining in one problem, we just do it all together. So step 1 will be to apply the distributive property. Distribute anything we need to distribute first. Then we'll combine like terms. And finally, we'll solve. Okay? So, and let's see if you're listening to this. If you are listening, I have a little dance. It's not a great one. A little dance that can remind you of how, like, the order you're supposed to do these 3 in. So if you're listening, you can ask me about the dance next class, and I will show you in class. Okay? Example 4, I'm just going to go ahead and solve. So the very first thing I need to do is distribute. So I'm going to take that 2, and I'm going to multiply it by the 2x. And I'm going to multiply it by the negative 2. Okay? So I do that first. And I get 4x minus 4, and then I bring down the plus x on the end, equals 6. Now I can combine like terms. So I have a 4x and a plus x, which is really a plus 1x. Okay? And I have the negative 4. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. 4x plus 1x gives me 5x. And then the negative 4 just gets brought down because it doesn't have any like terms. Now I go ahead and solve. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get 5x equals 10. Then I can divide both sides by 5. So I get x equals 2. And that's my final answer. Okay. The next one, I'm going to distribute first. So I'm going to take my 2 and multiply it by the x. And I'm going to multiply it by the 4. So that becomes 2x plus 8 plus 6x equals 72. Now I can combine my like terms. So I have a 2x and a positive 6x, and I have the plus 8. So I go ahead and combine my like terms. 2x plus 6x gives me 8x, and I just bring down the 8 because it doesn't have any like terms. So now I go ahead and solve. I subtract 8 from both sides. I get 8x equals 64. Then I can divide both sides by 8, and I get x equals 8 as my final answer. Okay? You guys are going to try these last two on your own. Okay? If you have any questions, please write them down. If we see any blank answers, that means that you have not completed your homework. So if you don't know what you're supposed to do, I would start by writing those 3 steps and then trying each step one at a time, just to try the problem. If you're really stuck, write down a question that you're going to ask in class about the problem. Okay? That will show us that you actually tried the homework so that we can give you credit for it. Okay? But other than that, I will see you guys next class. Have a great day. Bye!